Good morning to all the hardy people that are here and made it through the snow, and all the people who are at home cozy with a cup of tea. Welcome to everybody. I am Nancy Nelson, and I am your celebrant this morning. Moving my body through space has always been a source of great release and joy for me, and I am especially glad to be here today to learn more about new ways to do it that I haven't thought about before. I'd like to extend a special welcome to all those who are joining us for the first time. We are very glad that you are here. If you haven't already stopped in, please visit the welcome desk in the foyer and pick up a name tag and a newcomer's packet. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags and can point you toward additional information. If you're joining us online, we ask you to fill out the newcomer form on the website so we can be in touch with you and answer any questions you might have. Meanwhile, our usual practice is to gather in community for coffee and conversation following the service, either downstairs in the fellowship hall or in our Zoom room. We want everyone to feel supported and at home here. So let's begin in that spirit by saying our words of welcome together. Whether this is your first or your 1000th Sunday with us, whether you strolled, rolled, Zoomed, ran, or danced in, we are glad you chose to join us. We are one people of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. All are welcome here. Now we will take a moment to say hello across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you are at home, please turn on your camera. It's so great to see everybody. Yay! And now, people in the service, it's our turn to wave back. Yay! We do have actually several announcements today. First, many thanks to the many people who helped with hosting Family Promise families that stayed with us this last week. There were 4 families and numerous children, and it took a lot more work because it's more people. So thank you so much. If you haven't had a chance to do anything and feel like doing some laundry, there's a lot this time, and they're in bundles on the 3rd floor. You can just stop by, grab 1 or 2, whatever you feel like you can do. Take it home, wash it, bring it back and folded, and just stick it in that closet anywhere. I'll take care of the organization. If you would like to take action supporting Medicaid, see Mary Jo Hamilton downstairs after the service. She can get you started writing postcards to your legislators. She's got materials and information up, so that is something you can find out more about. Are you a newcomer to the UUCP or UU Curious? Reverend Elizabeth will help you get acquainted during a New to UU workshop, followed by a light lunch on Sunday, February 24th, 11:45 to 1:30-ish. And if you can't come to that one, there's another one in April. So check with a...
23rd. Yeah.
Oh no, I have the wrong date here. It's the 23rd, the Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Okay. And Ginger, you have a very important announcement for us.
Good morning, I'm Ginger Yoder. I'm the Director of Faith Formation here at this church. And I don't know if many of you know that we have a church covenant. We talk a lot about covenants here at church, which is our agreements of how we are together. It's what we promise each other and ourselves and how we're going to be in the world. And many years ago, I don't actually know what year. 2012, before I got here.
2012, we made a church-wide covenant. We engage in that process. It's time to rethink, how do we want to promise to be with each other? How do we want to promise to be in the world? And so we're going through a 3-part journey, actually with a consultant. And our first stop on that journey is next Sunday, directly after church.
We are going to come up here if you'd like to be a part and just talk about what it means to be in a covenanted community, what it means to work on a covenant together. And we would love for as much participation as possible, because this really is, the covenant is important, but our working through the covenant is, the process is super important as well. You can ask me or Elizabeth if you have any questions. And this is brought to you by your Committee on Ministry. So anyone else who's on that committee too, which I don't see anyone here today with that. So we have, oh, Debbie, sorry. Debbie's on that. Sorry, Debbie. I knew that. And I even spoke to you today. So that will be our next Sunday journey together, and I hope you can make it.
Here end the announcements. We preface our service by acknowledging our church was built on the ancestral homelands of the Nimipu, called the Nez Perce by the French-speaking traders, the Palouse and the Chichums, called the Coeur d'Alene. Let us pause and remember that we live on ground that is sacred, ground that was unfairly taken, ground that cries out for justice and for reverent care. May our remembering help us find the courage to do our part to restore wholeness to the earth and all her peoples. We are hoping that folks at home joining us via Zoom have a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. We are going to light our candles, our chalices together. And join us in the chalice affirmation. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share. You might not realize that the person who just lit the chalice is 6 years old today. His name is Jonathan.
So good morning, and thank you for coming out in this snow. So much snow. My son just moved out this past summer, so this is the first year where I have had to shovel all by myself, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But I think moving that way, moving the snow, moving my body is actually a very grounding and healthy way to start a day and end a day. And it ties into this morning's service, which is part of our series, Sharing Neuroregulatory Practices. Today, we're going to focus on mindful movement. We have two practitioners here. Christine Patterson is going to lead people of all ages in a brief trauma-informed yoga practice. And then later in the service, Megan Baumgartner will lead us in some seated Qigong. Now, Christine grew up in Boise and has been a part of our congregation for several years now. She is a certified pre- and postnatal yoga instructor who's been studying applied polyvagal theory in yoga, which is why we haven't seen her as much here in church for the past months. She's also a sleep consultant and the founder of the Mindful Parenting Revolution. In a previous incarnation, she was a teacher with a master's in education, and we're very grateful that she's willing to lead this practice for us. Megan, meanwhile, was fortunate enough to grow up in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. She's always felt healthy and happy while outdoors. She completed her BS in biology with honors from the University of Denver and then carried out molecular biology HIV vaccine research for a biotech company in the Department of Health in California for 5 years before completing a 4-year master's degree in Asian medicine, acupuncture, Qigong, and Tai Chi in Portland, Oregon. She's a licensed and nationally board-certified Asian medicine practitioner who's been practicing here in Moscow for 20 years. Megan's been implementing and teaching Qigong and meditation for 25 years. She finds the subtle yet powerful modalities of Asian medicine and meditative Qigong movements beautifully aligned to assist the nervous system, physiology, mind, and emotions to become soothed, better connected, and more efficiently communicating with the body. Asian medicine and Qigong practices have been used for millennia and were formulated around the idea that the human form is intimately connected to nature and the surrounding environment. When not working, Megan loves to hike, travel, downhill ski, bike, cook, garden, and make teas from her garden. She loves to read, dance to live music, and play games with friends. So we're very lucky to have them both with us today. Thank you so much. Now, there is a lot we don't know about how our mind, body, spirit system works, but this we know: they're most certainly connected. And while Western traditions are still somewhat hampered by a dualism that overvalues the intellect and undervalues these wise, soft animal bodies of ours, Eastern scientific, medical, and spiritual traditions have honed in on ways to support holistically our mental and spiritual well-being. In particular, practices that incorporate gentle, mindful movement, in addition to supporting balance and flexibility as we age, have been demonstrated to reduce anxiety and depression and to support mental clarity. So the practices will be offered today are adaptable for all bodies. So don't worry if you have physical limitations, tight muscles, or sore spots. I'll confess, after all that shoveling, I had to take Advil this morning. The invitation is to move in ways that feel good. In that spirit, let us begin by standing and perhaps swaying or moving a little as we sing our opening hymn, Love Will Guide Us.
Okay. I turned my mic on. Can you hear me?
Try it now.
Talk a little bit louder. There we go. Just needed a minute. Yay! I'm Christine, and I am very excited to have my feet on the earth in this place because I haven't been here for a while. I was led to yoga through dance, and I imagine I'd probably experienced an injury, so I was doing yoga as like a sad substitute for dance. But what was created in me was a really fun journey of exploration and curiosity that keeps growing and changing. And I started doing yoga because I wanted the physical benefits of flexibility and strength, etc. And what I'm realizing now is that I come to yoga to seek safety in my body. And that is the study of applied polyvagal theory and therapeutic yoga, this idea that many of us are searching for safety where? Outside ourselves. And it's a much easier practice the one we don't often engage in, to seek it inside ourselves, where we know it is. So I'm going to have us do 3 different practices, and I'm going to try to connect, I may forget, but I'm going to try to connect the intellectual behind the scenes of what we're doing physiologically. Because I can do a class for kids, and I know that it's going to benefit their mind-body connection. But it's really fun when we have adults in the room, too, to talk a little bit about why. So we're going to start with bee's breath, Brahmari breath, and we're going to take 6 total. The first 3, you're going to have your ears covered. And the last 3, you're going to take your hands off and just listen to our hive of bees here. Okay? It's a big inhale and an exhale where you everybody goes at their own pace. So when you're ready, inhale again. Exhale, this is 2. Three more, eyes closed, ears open. When your humming turns into silence, you notice what's going on in your body and mind. What's changed? What do you sense? Who liked ears closed? Yeah. Many of us need to come back into our own experience. Raise your hand if you liked ears open. It's really fun to do this in a big group, right? It's a very subtle subconscious reminder that you are supported and held. So that's Brahmari breath. The second thing I'm going to have you do is something that I've been doing a lot lately to close the loop, which is something that we talk about in stress and trauma spaces, because oftentimes stressful or traumatic events occur, and what do? We open a drawer and we cram it in somewhere. We close it, yeah? Because it's not appropriate for us to close the loop. And I've been exploring more in my life of what would it look like for me to just get this stress and tension out of my body, just right here in the moment. And I'm okay looking weird. Yeah, so I will do this in unexpected places, and oftentimes people don't necessarily know that I'm closing the loop, but I am. My favorite way to do it is called earth pat. So if you have legs that are as long as mine, then you're going to need to scoot yourself forward and feel the earth on underneath your feet. Best option is just to stand all the way up. It's going to feel best if you can stand all the way up. But you have an option to stay seated and just feel the earth under your feet. And you're just going to pat side to side, hips sway, because rhythmic movement is really healing for our body. It's
tells us you're safe. It might feel good to pick it up a little bit. Oftentimes our thoughts are like a saber-toothed tiger for our mind, right? And we think something that sends us into fight or flight. And if we hold all the hormones and the big burst of adrenaline that we got in our body suffers. But if you want to get it out, you can close the loop. So sometimes I do this fast, and I reach my hands up, and I feel big and brave and strong. And I let it out. And sometimes you can do short bursts of letting it out. And usually there's a point where I think I want to stop, and if I push through that, something really amazing happens. This like euphoria hits. Yeah, you're at that point right now. You're like, Christine, please let us just sit down again. We're going to do 3 slow breaths. Arms reach up. Exhale loud. And then just after B breath, come back into your body. Can you feel how you've changed? Isn't it nice to have your earth right underneath you? Do you notice your heart beating for you? If you don't, put your hands on your heart. Oftentimes, when something going on in the outside world has caused a thought that's unhelpful, doesn't feel good to me, I do this one easy practice, feeling my heart beating. What does this make you feel? Coming back inside you feels a lot different than the feelings that come at us from outside sometimes, or the thoughts that cause the feelings. Okay, our next breath is a really subtle one. It's a really great way to wake up in the morning to your own safe self, and you'll keep your hand on your heart for it. You can sit down or stay standing. The idea here is that you can close your eyes either completely or just metaphorically by bringing your awareness inside and exhaling, curling your spine around your heart. Inhaling, opening your heart to the sky. Exhale, follow your heart. Inhale, expand. And if it feels good to expand even further, your next inhale, you'll take one arm and reach long. Exhale, back home. Inhale, reach your other arm. Exhale, back to center. Again, following your breath, I call this heart in your hand breath. Expand. Come back to a safe space. If I'm needing more grounding, stability, steadiness, I might reach my hand low. Big inhale to Mother Earth. Back to my heart. What about what you need? Coming back over and over again to your internal guidance system. It's going to help you calm your nervous system. And it's going to help you get clearer on what you might be needing. Take one more. It might feel good to expand both arms. Big inhale up. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to be able to stop at one. Exhale back to your heart. Inhale again. Last time, I promise. Good, and then one more quiet reflection. Again, how does it feel to sense your heart beating for you under your hands? Eyes open. Good. Behind the scenes, your vagus nerve was getting lots of messages. You sent messages to your body, you are safe. And then your body got to send messages back to you, that feels good, do more. And the cool thing is that all the tools that Megan's going to teach us just furthers this connection to follow safety back inside. Yay, thank you, beautiful yogis. Yeah.
Thank you, Christine. It's now time to send the kids to the classrooms. So let's sing them out together. Now let's take a moment to engage in the practice of generosity together. For those of you able to make a financial contribution, the logistics are on your screen. We typically give away all the cash from our Sunday offering to charities whose missions align with our values, a program called Month of Sundays. This month, the recipient is Backyard Harvest, whose mission is to connect low-income families, seniors, and individuals with fresh local produce. Backyard Harvest relies on volunteers who share their backyard bounty and extra fruit to make sure that everyone in our community has healthy food to eat. For the past few years, Backyard Harvest has provided fresh local fruit to the Weekend Food for Kids program that distributes food to school kids during the summer when food support is not available. We look forward to working with them again this year. To donate, please indicate Month of Sundays on your check or from the drop-down menu online. In the spirit of love and for the continuing work of this church, we now take time to practice generosity together.
Good morning. I'm Rodney. Honored to be a member of your lay pastoral team. You can contact any of us, members of that team, anytime if you'd like to visit. Our names and contact information is on the church's website. We also invite you to a holding circle, a simple gathering in front of the heart immediately after the service to hold each other with love and our hearts. Now is the time in our service that we lift up our joys and sorrows. The sharing of joys and sorrows is a sacred ritual in our community, a time to briefly acknowledge truly significant life events, either by submitting them in advance, typing them in the chat, or coming forward and sharing them in person. So, if you aren't already, and I suspect many of us are, get comfortable, relax, take a few deep breaths, and check in with your heart. Sorrow comes into every life. Each of us suffers losses and setbacks. Each of us struggles. Each of us sometimes knows defeat. Together, we create a circle of compassion wide enough to hold all the sorrow in our hearts, all the pain in our lives. If you have a sorrow to share, I invite you to come forward now and form a line here. Please keep it to a sentence or two.
I have 2 candles to light, one on behalf of Victoria Seaver in memory of an old Moscow friend who died last Sunday, Ellen Kerr, and one for Fred Turney, who we lost on Thursday.
I'm Elizabeth. Bill Webb asked me to light a candle. He hurt his leg. It's either his knee or his foot, I'm not quite sure, but he can't put any weight on it, sitting mostly around. But his grandson is going to be here for a week to help out, but he's not going to be able to walk or drive for quite a while, and he will need some help, and you'll get some emails asking for help.
I'm Amy Scott. Carrie is having unexpected gallbladder surgery tomorrow, so if you guys can all keep him in his thoughts, he would appreciate it.
Joy, too, comes into every life. Hearts are made to love. This world and the people in it are unbearably beautiful. Together we create a circle of celebration, deep enough to hold all the joy in our lives. If you have a joy to share, we invite you to come forward now and form a line here and share it with us.
I'm Jennifer Rod, and I have 2, one that's a little late and one that's a little early, 2 joys. My dog turned 14 just about a week and a half ago, and so that was good. She's still spry and stuff. And the other one is Coralie Borning will be turning 106, I think, a week from Monday, the 24th. And I won't be here that Sunday to light a candle for her, so I thought I would do it today. You know, she's really kind of private and self-conscious about the birthday thing. So it's not like she would want a big rush of anything, but just to be mindful of it. And those of you who know her or whatever, you know, just be aware of that, because might send her a card. Yeah. So, and she's still chipper and everything. I took her a Valentine cookie the other day, and she had to split it with me, and then make us both cocoa. So that was good, and she's still conversive. I mean, not even conversive. She's a conversationalist, which a lot of people aren't anymore. But she always remembers what's going on before I do, which isn't a big deal, but she's very on top of it. She gets around, got up, made the cocoa and stuff, and so anyway, I just wanted that not to go unmentioned, because she is sort of private, so anyway. Don't tell her I said anything.
Every life, every heart, every one of us, at any moment, is filled with joys and sorrows, with hopes and dreams, with concerns. Truly a rainbow of experiences from the heart. I'll light this final candle for all that which is in our hearts, yet too tender to share. Life, however fragile, is a gift, and we in this community of memory, caring, and hope celebrate this gift today and all days. Amen, and blessed be.
There have been moments in the past few weeks when I felt a little self-conscious about this whole series of neuroregulatory practices. But then a colleague of mine posted today, regulation is resistance. And I think that may be my motto for the next little while. Now, we know, I assume we know, that movement is good for us, right? Especially as we age. Incorporating physical exercise into our daily routine leads to a reduced risk of chronic diseases, leads to improved mental health, and a better quality of life. Maintaining physical activity, including strength and flexibility training, has been proven to slow the effects of aging on the motor system and can protect us against injuries and declines in functioning. The data also shows that exercise can lead to an improvement in cognitive and motor function. In particular, dancing and singing at the same time, or walking and talking at the same time, seem to stave off age-related cognitive decline. And that little nugget was courtesy of Trish Hartzell. Now, what we're learning about today, though, goes beyond a commitment to exercise or physical activity or strength training. Qigong and yoga both require a particular kind of mental focus, and so they offer additional benefits. According to the National Institute of Health, yoga and Qigong are ancient mind-body practices used in the East for thousands of years to promote inner peace and mental clarity. Both share breathing techniques and slow movements, which can be easily learned by anyone, empowering the practitioner with a tool for psycho-spiritual growth. Yoga and Qigong are based in the same concept of a vital life force energy that sustains life everywhere, which in yoga is called prana and in Qigong is called qi. They place emphasis on attending to interoceptive, proprioceptive, and kinesthetic qualities of experience. Now, interoception is the ability to sense what's happening inside our body, so feeling our heart. Proprioception is an awareness of the position and movement of the body in space. And kinesthetic awareness is the ability to sense your body's position and movement in space without sight, which is why often we're invited to close our eyes. The article from the NIH continues, both yoga and Qigong emphasize three common components in their fundamental practices: stretching of muscles, tendons, and ligaments, where thousands of proprioceptive receptors are located; controlled breathing, leading to the harmonization of the somatic and autonomic nervous systems, and the obtention of a state of tranquility of the mind, which can be considered as meditation. So we're not just moving and stretching, we're paying attention to our breath. We're carefully sensing our body's needs and limits, and we're quieting the mental chatter that keeps us from being fully present in the moment. Of course, yoga and qigong are different practices, and those differences go beyond their origin stories. Yoga is rooted in the Hindu scriptures, while qigong is rooted in Chinese Taoism. Yoga is typically a little more vigorous, with many of the movements or asanas designed to increase strength and flexibility, theoretically with the goal of increasing our capacity to sit in meditation. Qigong, meanwhile, focuses on more gentle and fluid movements, and it's designed to facilitate healing, to support our general physical well-being. Yoga tends to emphasize inhalation and exhalation through the nose. This breathing pattern has been shown to calm the nervous system, and it's incredibly important for regulating the parasympathetic system. That's the rest and digest system, the vagus nerve that we're talking about. Qigong, meanwhile, often incorporates a breathing technique where we inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. This breathing pattern helps get rid of unwanted tension and has the effect of releasing energy from our bodies. Both of these techniques aid in relaxation and stress relief, but they feel a little different. And this difference in the breathing technique is also tied to a difference in how the two practices build strength. Qigong actually grows out of martial arts traditions, and it's hard to imagine building strength through movements like punches, right? Without breathing out. Now, according to the Cleveland Institute of Health, Qigong has been shown to reduce depression, relieve stress, lessen chronic fatigue, and improve sleep. It's also been shown to boost the immune response and to improve the well-being of cancer patients. Meanwhile, the Feinberg School of Medicine at Northwestern reports that yoga is good for the spine, the cardiovascular system, mental health, and has even been shown to reduce symptoms from autoimmune disorders and asthma. You know, I think the truth is that incorporating any kind of regular practice that is safe and uses mindful movement is going to improve our physical and emotional health. However, both of these disciplines have thousands of years worth of study and refinement, supporting the use of specific postures, movements, and breathing techniques. The language and the theory we hear practitioners use to describe and instruct, it may be a little less familiar to us than, say, what we would hear from our personal trainer. But if we can get past our cultural arrogance and enter into these traditions with an open mind and heart, we can reap incredible benefits. So something else to give a try. With that, I will hand it over to Megan.
I'm going to talk a little bit. I wanted a sip of water first. Can everyone hear me okay? Oh, I'm on the mic. Good morning. I'm Megan Baumgartner. I'm very happy to be here. Long ago, I was a Unitarian member when Gail Rice was here as the Reverend, so it's an honor to be here in a different setting a little bit to offer some of my techniques with you. As with yoga or all of these practices, I really invite you to take care of yourselves. What I'm guiding you through is never about doing something that's physically, emotionally, or mentally uncomfortable for you. So do it in a way that works for you as you wish. For those of you that maybe can't move physically in some ways comfortably, just imagining with the brain those movements happening is very effective. We have some incredible studies from doctors that take functional MRIs of the brain, people who say move a leg, and then just imagine the leg moving, and the same areas of the motor cortex in the brain light up. So just imagining yourself doing something is very effective and powerful for the brain and the brain-body connection, or mind-body connection. Qigong guided moving meditations are very safe, gentle, and effective. There's nothing dramatic that you need to check in. That me? That was dramatic. That's the universe saying something like, okay, and things can happen that are not unplanned. So the way I plan to guide you today should be very gentle and just taking care of yourself. As Elizabeth so nicely commented, these practices have been around for millennia and have shifted a little bit as we bring them into the West to align a little bit more closely with our Western minds. But as she said, there may be some terminology that's a little different for you. Today I will be guiding us in an accessible moving meditation, so we'll stay seated the whole time. I'd like to talk a little bit about what is Qigong, because not all of us have even heard of it. More people have heard of yoga. Qigong loosely translates to energy work, energy cultivation, or energy exercise. And it's a very large umbrella term that incorporates literally thousands of different forms and styles of moving meditations, of which all of the Tai Chi forms are under that umbrella. So if you've done Tai Chi, which more people have heard of, you've technically done Qigong. It's just that Qigong is a broader umbrella of many different ways of moving. And so sometimes the Qigong is really more of a meditation. You might be lying down like in yoga savasana, and it's an internal process and very still. Other times you might be standing and moving quite quickly, and other times you might be doing chanting or other meditation. So it's very vast in terms of what can happen.
Megan, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Where do the martial arts fit? Are they under the Qigong umbrella, or?
They're not, but Qigong is considered, I was going to mention this, is considered a soft martial art. So the martial art forms that are hard are things like karate, what's another one? Kung Fu, and Qigong forms are considered soft martial arts. So they are not a practice in which we can use for protection, for physical protection and fighting. However, they can be used for the same internal meditation and processes of gaining strength within. Does that answer the question? Yeah. And Elizabeth did mention this a little bit, but I'd like to let you know that other methodologies and other techniques, places call Qi, prana in yoga, Qi is the Chinese, or I'm sorry, the Japanese way to speak of Qi, vital life force, and even mana. I think maybe a Hawaiian term for it. So we're all referencing the same vital life energy inside. One scientific way I like to reference Qi is with Einstein's famous equation E equals mc squared. So for the scientist in the room, E stands for energy in his equation, equals on the other side of the equation, m is for mass. C references the speed of light in a vacuum. We're going to just kind of say, yes, it's there. But what's interesting to me is that E, if you look at the proof of E equals mc squared, energy and mass are transforming into one another all the time. Within the human form, within animals, within plants. So anything that's alive on this planet is having energy and mass interchanging constantly. So Qigong is this lovely way to access the movement of energy in the body and guide it for greater health and well-being, for strength and flexibility, for calming the mind and the nervous system, for connecting to the internal self, much like yoga, with just another methodology. I'm not used to talking so much right now. So thanks for letting me take little sips. Another thing I do like to mention before we go into the Qigong practice itself is that Asian medicine and Qigong in particular were formulated in a time and in a culture that saw no difference from the human form and the surrounding environment or nature. So a lot of the terminology and the way that we focus our minds is in that relationship. And that is quite literal in that we bring in oxygen with every breath into this body system. We take in food and water and bring that external thing into the body. So there's always an exchange between physical and energetic pieces in your surroundings. In Asian medicine and Qigong, we also reference different organs and body parts that are associated with different seasons, like the winter and all this snow, as well as different elements in nature, like water and wood and fire, for example. We like to recognize that all forces in nature influence us too. So gravity, the forces of wind, the sun rays are all influencing this human form, just as it influences everything else on the planet. So there's no separation. It's a very holistic practice, not just within the body, but within our entire environment. So it's a really sweet way to stay connected to that which is outside the body and to that which is inside the body. Today, I will guide you through a small number of movements and visualizations, and please feel free to do all or part as you wish. So I'll invite everyone to close their eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Like we were offered before, if you can come to the edge of your chair if your legs aren't long enough to touch the ground. Ideally, the feet are touching the ground, allowing you to stay grounded to Mother Earth and gravity that keeps us here. Your hands can be on your belly to feel the breath or just resting upon your thighs. And just check in for a moment. Notice where your two sits bones are touching your chair, and maybe rock right to left just subtly to notice if you want to balance that right to left position of how you're seated so it feels a little more comfortable. I'm just taking another moment here to make final adjustments so you are seated in the most comfortable position for yourself right now. We bring our attention and intention inward. You may take a moment to add intention to what you'd like to bring to your practice today, if there is anything specific. And with your next inhale, I'm going to invite you to bring the shoulders up towards the ears, gently and slowly, and then resting them down with the exhale back into their sockets. It's just resetting those trap muscles. So again, inhaling the shoulders up towards the ears, lifting them, and then relaxing them with the exhale back into the shoulder socket. Inhale one more time, shoulders coming up, and relaxing them back down. As we move forward, you're welcome to open your eyes partially or entirely to watch me, or just allow my voice to guide you through the movements. As we begin, please take a moment just to notice how you feel with the things you've heard and sang and done in the yoga practice today. What do you notice in the body? Is there joy? Is there tension, frustration, curiosity, annoyance? And this is a witnessing process, just watching what arises with no judgment and no need to change. The next 3 inhales, We will inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth at my count. So exhale all the air from the lungs. Inhale through the nose, 1, 2, 3. Exhale through the mouth, 1, 2, 3. Inhale through the nose, 1, 2, 3. Exhale through the mouth, 1, 2, 3. Inhale through the nose, 1, 2, 3. Exhale through the mouth, 1, 2, 3. And returning to a comfortable breathing rhythm that works for you right now. Feeling those cleansing breaths come within you. We'll now bring the right and left palms together and rub them. We bring right and left together, which brings yin and yang together. We create friction with the rubbing, which creates heat, which is a form of energy or chi. So we're essentially creating fresh chi in these hands. We're going to bring the hands to the top of the head where the hair meets the scalp, and we're going to run the midline to the back of the neck. So front to back, just rubbing the midline of your head gently with both fingers of both hands. This is called the governing chi vessel. As we activate and open this vessel of chi pathway, it helps us see how we want to govern our life as we move forward. And shaking the hands out with your exhale, and then rubbing them together again. And then each hand is going to come just lateral to that midline on the head, coming front to back, rubbing gently along the scalp. This is the water chi channel on the scalp and head. As we activate and open this channel, we connect to our resources, how we are resourced, and the flow of life in these bodies. And shaking the hands out, and rubbing the hands together. We bring the hands to the temples, so even more lateral, front to back, coming to the back of the neck. Gently rubbing the scalp here is connecting with the wood chi channel of the head. We open to growth and new beginnings. Shaking the hands and rubbing the hands. One hand at a time, we will come in between the eyebrows above the bridge of the nose, up and sweep to the side of the forehead, and then with the other hand do the same, alternating right to left. We are opening that third eye position, which is over the pituitary of the brain, connecting to our intuition and inner visioning, looking within the body. We swipe from side to side to clear fog from the mind. And shaking those hands. And rubbing those hands together. I'm going to place the palms facing over the eyeballs. You can close your eyes if they're open. Sending fresh chi to the eyes so that your vision and sight is enhanced and clear. And shaking the hands and rubbing the hands together. We'll take the thumbs and rub up and down the sides of the nose to activate, to open the nasal passageways to the lungs, inviting the sweet smells of life to arrive, connecting to greater inspiration. Shaking that out and rubbing the hands together. We will put a thumb on each cheek to stabilize the hands. One hand comes above the upper lips. The other hand comes below the lower lips. And we rub back and forth, above and below the lips, essentially rubbing the gums underneath the lips, opening the mouth, our access to gaining nourishment, allowing us to speak the truth with kindness. Shaking the hands and rubbing the hands together. We bring the hands cupped over the ears, kind of like we did in yoga. You're going to bring them apart and away from the ears quickly, recalibrating the ears, hearing the messages of nature, listening to music and the sounds of our friends, and shaking the hands. And rubbing those hands. We're going to tap the left fingers and rub up the left arm and down the left arm. So rubbing up the outer part of the arm, rubbing down the inner part. Opening the circulation from the shoulder out to those fingertips. Allowing us to reach for what we need and want in life with clarity, with warm hands even in the winter. And we'll go to the right hand, slapping those fingertips to open up, rubbing up the outer arm, down the inner arm. Opening the circulation of chi and blood and lymph in these upper limbs. And shaking that out. Rubbing the hands. This next movement is where I will remind you, just do whatever is available to your body today. We're going to touch the outer parts of the hips, run down the outer legs as close to the feet as possible and up the inner legs. Repeating, running down the outer legs, up the inner legs, moving the circulation of chi and blood and lymph, the lower limbs from the hips to the toes and back to the pelvis. Sending gratitude, to the legs and feet as they carry us everywhere we need and want to go. And bringing those hands to the belly, rubbing the belly a little bit, and resting the palms touching the lower belly, upper pelvis. We bring our intention and awareness to the reproductive organs, the kidneys, imagining the color blue like water, sending our chi and our love and our gratitude to these organs as we release fear and increase our willpower. Bringing both palms up to the right rib cage area. Imagining the color green like a sprout sprouting up through the earth in spring. Sending our chi and our love and our gratitude to the liver. Releasing frustration so that we may grow forth into new potential and possibilities. And coming to the left upper chest, palms on the body, imagining the color red like the sun or fire. Sending our love and our chi and our gratitude to the heart as we release anxiety to create greater connections with those around us. We sort so that we may connect with our pure and noble hearts. And bringing the palms to now the left ribcage area. Imagining the color brown-yellow like fertile soil. Sending our love, and our chi, and our gratitude to the spleen. As we release worry so that we may further integrate our life experiences. And bringing the palms up to both sides of the chest, imagining the color white like clouds in the sky. Sending your love and your chi and your gratitude to the lungs. We release sorrow so that we may be absolutely connected with that which is most valuable and precious to you. Coming back to the belly, doing a gentle rubbing in circles of the belly. Further ground and integrate your process today. Letting the palms rest on your thighs or on your belly. Taking a few more deep, slow, even, full breaths. Noticing where the body moves with the inhale, where the body moves with the exhale. You take this inner strength and peace with you. It is always available to you within. When you're ready, you can slowly and gently open the eyes, bring your awareness back to the room. Thank you all for being here with me today, and trying out maybe a very different thing than you have before.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you, Christine. Oh, these bodies, they are good gifts. They are. And I'll let you know that Megan is going to be teaching a spring series of Qigong classes. And I think Christine teaches on Saturday mornings and Mondays. To the extent that we get information from the two of you, we will make sure it gets up on the church webpage and out in our email announcements so that folks who do want to take these practices deeper will have the the possibility of doing so. Our closing hymn today is Wo Ya Ya. This is number 1020 in the teal hymnal, but the words will be up here. It's a little funky, but just follow me. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Okay. Our closing reading is Blessing the Body by Jan Richardson. This blessing takes one look at you, and all it can say is holy. Holy hands, holy face, holy feet, holy everything in between. Holy even in pain, holy even when weary. In brokenness, holy. In shame, holy still. Holy in delight, holy in distress. Holy when being born, holy when we lay it down at the hour of our death. So friend, open your eyes, holy eyes, for one moment. See what this blessing sees, this blessing that knows how you have been formed and knit together in wonder and in love. Welcome this blessing that folds its hands in prayer when it meets you. Receive this blessing that wants to kneel in reverence before you, you who are a temple, sanctuary, home for God in this world. Please join me now for a musical benediction, There is a Love. Please join me in the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this chalice that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. So go forth into this beautiful snowy day, thanking life for the good gift of this body, which offers such a sweet and soft home for our spirits. Remember that you are holy in every fiber of your being, and you are whole just the way you are. I love you all. Go in peace. Come back next Sunday.